Well, we have this rally. I know you've heard about it, and it's going to be happening October 27th at 6 o'clock at Church on the Rock in the Powerhouse Youth Group Center, just because it has a good stage and lighting is nice, good equipment, and we have some posters getting printed right now. We'll put them out of school. Try to invite your friends. It's not just Redwater, but it's really just like students around TK. We really want to help or invite. It's open to everybody. And then what else? Fields of Faith, of course. Gates. It's at PG. Gates open at 6:30. Be there. I know.
Next Wednesday, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, is the 27th for the rally? It's on a Wednesday?
Looks like it's a Sunday.
Oh, it's a Sunday.
It's Sunday. Yeah. It's 27th. I know.
So like, what do we do?
So it's more than likely going to be worship. It's going to be like 100% student-led worship. Some people are going to talk. I'm not going to be a main talker. I think the main talker is going to be Marissa, but I'm going to be singing and playing guitar, and then helping pray. I'll be on the prayer team, and I might talk a little bit, like a verse or two. But mainly, we're just going to be. And we need people to help at the door, invite people, and stuff like that, and just really be like, I don't know, support it around Texarkana. All right, all that is out of the way. The leaders are trying to get the youth leaders ready are trying to get their testimonies out of the way, and I figured I'd do mine first just because mine's the longer. Well, yeah, sharing. Yeah, that's bad terminology. My bad. But sharing our testimonies. I say out of the way though because mine's super duper long. So, but it's gonna get pretty. There's some serious moments, so I ask you, stay with me, bear with me. If I stumble, it's because I have literally all of this summed up, written down on notes. So, and I have not. This is the first time looking over it in like a month, so bear with me. But I gotta skip all the introduction stuff because I share this at my church for people that don't know me. So it's like, my name's Riley, if you don't know me and all this, so I gotta skip all that. About a year and a half ago, right before Christmas, my grandpa took his own life and tore up my whole family, and it made me like really hate God and ask God like, why are you doing this to me, and like why are you punished? I feel like he was punishing me and like I was doing something wrong, and he put me away from God. Before then, I was going to we had like ready, but it's in junior high. It's called RPM, and I was going to those, and this is when I was in 7th grade. So I guess like 2.5 years ago. But I was going to those, but I was like, I could feel God calling me. But after that happened with my grandpa, I was like I just put myself away from him because I was mad at him and asking him like, if he's a God of good or a good God, then why would he do this to me? And it put me in such a dark place. At one point, it was like this, like February or January. I was in a bad relationship with God and a girl, and she was not helping. But I was basically down so bad. Sorry, I was basically sorry, bad terminology. I was so depressed. Sorry. I was so depressed that I almost took my own life that one night, and I was sitting at the end of my bed crying, and I had a razor blade to my wrist, and I was about to slip my own wrist, and it was a really low place for me, and something told me like not to do it, and it compelled me from doing that, and then since I didn't. Thank God I didn't throw in the towel. But I stayed in that depressed state until that May, which is when I was feeling better. a bit better than my grandpa. And in the moment, I actually had an amazing relationship with my dad, my biological dad, and he's been hit or miss in my life. That's a whole other story. But he was like, he didn't talk to me for like 5 months before in this point in time, and out of nowhere, he's just been amazing. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna treasure this while I can. And it was the day that school got out in 7th grade, and I was so excited. Like, I was planning on hanging out with my dad, and we were gonna spend the weekend together. First time in like 6 months, right? Super excited. I was gonna be able to see my brothers. I haven't seen them in a hot minute neither. And the day before then, it was a Thursday, and the Wednesday before that Thursday, we went to church together, and that's like the first time in a hot minute. He taught me about the Holy Trinity, and gave this really good comparison between the Holy Trinity and the three forms of water. How the 3 forms of water are all water, but they come in different forms, just like God in the Holy Trinity. God is Jesus, God is the Spirit, and God is the Lord. But he presents himself in 3 different ways, but they're all God. And I thought that was really cool, and I stole that from him like that. And here I am saying it. But I was in high hopes. I was excited to spend some time with my dad. And we were just gonna hang out like we used to. And he went to come pick me up, and he was like, "Hey, I gotta go get some meds and like a little plushie from a girlfriend, his girlfriend at the time, and they're going through an argument." I'm like, all right, whatever. As long as like we're gonna have our time together, I'm fine. Right? So we go to Walmart, we get this like $2 plushie. It's really weird, and we walk out and we drive by his girlfriend's house, and like she's like not opening the door for him. I'm like, oh Lord, why? What's going on here? And he was like, it'd be really funny. And we're sitting outside our house in this truck, because apparently I'd met this girl before. I don't remember it at all, so I don't know like what he was talking about. But he was saying, it'd be really funny if you gave her the plushie. Maybe she would not get mad at me anymore. I'm like, all right, dang. Okay, throw me under the bus. But so I walk out there, I knock on her door, and she's like, who is it? And she didn't open the door. She was like freaking out. I could hear the fear in her voice. I'm like, this is Miles' son. I wanted to give this plushie to you. And she was like, I can't open the door. I'm like, okay. So I'll walk away, because I couldn't care less about that situation. I wanted to go back to my dad. And I didn't ask why or anything. I just walked away. I got back in the truck, and he was like, well, why didn't she open the door? And she was like, well, I said, because she didn't want to. And he was like, all right. So he gets out, all mad, and all muscled up and all that, good stuff. And he goes up to her door, like bangs on her door, and asks her like, why can't you open the door and all this stuff. I'm in the truck seeing this on my like right side in the passenger seat, just watching all this. It's really, really cringy. And I didn't hear the rest. I didn't hear what she said because it was so muffled and too far away. But he got mad. He came back in the truck, walked around, got back in the truck, got the plushie he bought her, and threw it out the window. I drove off. I'm like, well, all right, one less distraction, I guess, of our amazing weekend. And so we get out of that. After that, he gets a phone call from his parole officer. And I was thinking it was like a checkup or something like that. And she was saying, like, he was getting mad, and he said, well, what I heard from him, because I didn't hear his parole officer, he was like, I can't go to Bi-State right now because I have my kid. Well, apparently they're trying to drug test him because somebody told them that my dad started drinking again after 6 years of being sober. So that was a big no-no. And basically alerted his parole and made her call him while we were together. And he used me as an excuse not to get drug tested. But at the time, I was thinking, yeah, that's a valid reason he's watching me. Like, what is this lady trying to keep my dad from me? That's what I was thinking. Now I see it at a different angle. But yeah. And then he hangs up with his parole officer, which is also a big no-no. And we keep on driving. And then he starts talking to me in a weird way, and he's like, hey, I can't I just wanted to let you know that I love you and I might not see you for a little bit. And I'm like, what? And he was like, I'm going to be going away for a little bit and I might not be coming back. And I'm like, darn, what happened to that amazing weekend? And he was like, he asked me to come with him. He asked me to run away with him. I said no, because I have such a life in this community and, around Texarkana and Redwater. I'm not leaving that all just to be like running around with a felon. He was like, all right. So he's calling people and he called his mom and she freaked out and she was like, well, where's Riley at? He hangs up with her on her and then calls his pastor and is like, the pastor of the church that we went to the day before, and he calmed him down, but he still dropped me off at my grandpa's house and left. I'm thinking, this dude's not gonna come back. Like, what the heck? And he actually relapsed in the car, like with me, or in the truck while we were driving. He stopped at this Easy Mart before he drops me off, and comes outside with this, I think it was like Budweiser or something like that, but it was a bottle in a plastic bag, and I'm like, dude, you're not slick. I know what that is. He tries to hide it in his leg as he's walking, and he's terrible at it. And then he puts it in the back cab, and I'm like petrified because I know what that is, and I haven't seen him hold one. I'm like, since I could hardly remember anything, and we get on down the road, and I'm like, hey, is that liquor? And he's like, yeah. Can you hand it to me? I'm like, phew. So I grabbed this bottle of beer and I hesitated with it in my hand, and I thought about just like throwing it out the window, but he'd probably beat me. So I didn't, and I handed it to him, and he poured it in his cup that he had been hauling around with him that whole day already. So he very well might have been drinking the whole day, I don't know. And he takes a sip of it. He hesitates and takes a sip of it. Oh, is that it? Oh, man.
Just keep going.
Okay. Well, anyways, he relapsed, and that sucked. And then I went on a church trip with my church the following summer. I got saved, and I hate to rush this, but it's just time management, and that's my bad. But I got saved and baptized in the Lord's name, and I wanted to tell y'all that thing that kept me from committing suicide, and a thing that kept me from not leaving off with my dad. That thing is that thing is a personal God that wants to have a relationship with you, that can do the same for you, regardless of your situation and what you're in. And he loves you, and his name is Jesus Christ, and he died for our sins. And I'm really sorry for rushing that. I feel really bad now, but that's just my bad for not having good time management. But that's really it. And
Something else is that we did it last year, we did it for the past few years. We're gonna start it up again every morning at 6:45 on Wednesday morning to meet a local habit for a Bible study. For those of you that can drive, y'all can come. When are you driving?
And those of you that can't drive, ask somebody that can.
Yeah.
Me too.